Good morning, this morning here in Sweden, and I think it's July 8th, 2022. It's I have forgotten that to write it. I wrote on Facebook what God have taken away from me to be showing this is how God is. And this was one of the I forgotten that God have taken away my ability to know the days, the months almost. At least the days, what day it is. And I remember it was a midsummer eve when it's the biggest, the same biggest as Christmas is in Sweden. And I was sitting on my computer, and then I felt that I should start to buy some food, and a little food for the summer. And I went down to the store, my closest store, and it was closed. And that store is and was open from early morning until 10-11 o'clock in the evening, and it was only 3 o'clock like that when I come to the store, and it was closed, and there was not much people around either. But I stopped one person and asked him, why are the store closed? I say to this person, and he looked at me very strange. What's wrong with you like that? And he say it's Midsummer Eve. And I had not thinking about it, and I have not looking for it, waiting for it at all. But I am a traditional person. I love different cultures and these things. So I wanted to have some this traditional food for midsummer, even if it was closed, the stores. But those Islamic Muslims store, they were open because they didn't celebrate our Swedish biggest evening, and so I could buy some that was for the midsummer. So it was before I had this accident, this traffic accident with a car, and my brain was okay in that time, but I have been like that my whole life, not knowing what day it is, and be happy if I know the month of it. And even worse if I know what year it have been, and that have sometimes been hard for me to remember, and that is not just in January. It's hard to know the year. It have been in June also. So that is one thing that God have taken away from me. And I know there is some people that that have these problem issues with the dates, but it's showing that in heaven there is only one day, so they don't need to know what date it is like we need to do here on earth. And so I was like I will have that connection with heaven in that way. And then I have told you many times that God took away the ability to could read books, and but that was in year 2000 when God came down and talked to me about my future, what should be in the future, and when he took me away from everything and let me walk homeless and very needy in the United States. And that's what God is also, because he wants us to listen to him in the air. He don't want us to look down in books the whole time. Of course we can do that, but not. We need to have a relationship with God in that way that we listen for to hear God in the air. Fresh words of today, and not something interpret and something that is trying to read from those rules, find scripture things in the sea scrolls and in the rocks and these things. The words you hear from God in the air is not without. You don't need to try to figure out what he is writing about. He talked to you directly, immediately, and to you he talking to, and not for the whole world that is in the books. The Bible is for the whole world. But when God is talking in the air, he is talking to you. It's between you and God. And that is the best relationship with God than the books. And but I don't say that you should not read the books. You can study the books in the same time that you also listen to God, what he wants to tell you today, here and now. And I did this recording because I wanted to talk. I know I have talking before for a long time ago about this when my mother come through. I was in 2009. I was in a church that it was a spirit church. It was not this psychic, this foreteller or something like that. There is some churches in the world that is a spirit church, and that we started the church. It was a pastor that have started this church, but he have passed away. So it was a woman that took care of the church. and we always started to listen. This will people say is New Age like that, or we reach hell like that, but it isn't. I have been not told one time. I have heard it many times from other people from different directions, and I believe that it's some that when I get contact with the spirits, when they are coming into my home, I feel this chill feeling inside me and over my body, and that make me go into a frequency without have learned me these things, but I feel that when they are coming, and you have maybe heard it, that I am not like I am when I'm only talking like I do now, but it's a spirit coming to me, so I am a little into the spirit now. But it sounds different when the spirit is talking through me, because I go down in another frequency in the air, and that's how they can reach me also. Not only that I have accept them, that I am not scared about them, that I accept them and know they are with us. Even if we don't see them, I know they are with us and help us. And some spirit doesn't want to help. There is different spirits. So we have to learn who is those that want to help us and teach us this friendly. And the church, I didn't know in that time, but the church started always with music of Bach, the church music from Bach, because that's a lower frequency in his playing, in his music. That is that set of the music for the church, Bach music. You should listen at it, and it's going down, and then to could go down in that mood, that frequency where the music are, and then we listen first on that music, and then we pray that no other spirits than the spirits from God will come to us. That's what we was praying for. We pray to God to stop everything that was of evil. So that's how we clean up. And it was one day I was very sick in that time in my body. I wake up screaming in the night of so much pain, and I think it was today. I think it was my post-traumatic stress of what I have going through in the United States and my whole life. All this abuse, very close to be killed many times, and evil people, but also that when I come back to Sweden, it's like you know it when you have been in that situation that you have been like in prison, been taken of something, and then you go free. And what should have been in that situation, it coming to you after you have been set free, then all the pain is coming over you. Because in that situation when you are abused or locked in or kidnapped or like that, the only thing that the brain working with is to survive everything, and wait for that moment when everything is over. And it was for me when I come back to Sweden. But I was still homeless in Sweden. No one helped me in Sweden. And it took 11 years for me to get my own home, a real home with the contract, the lease. I didn't have a lease until I had a home, but not the lease on it. And it was scary to not have the lease, because then could I have to leave my home if someone was complaining about me. So it was very scary. But I started to be better later on. But in this time when I was to that church, I have this pain in the night in my body, because it was going worse. My pancreas and my psoriasis is that kind of sort of psoriasis that go into the joint and make damage in the skeleton, and then I have this pain of the pancreas because I didn't have any medicine, because my doctor didn't know that it was my pancreas that did all this pain. She thought I did drugs, so she limited me to get a painkiller, and so I have to have bad days without the pills, and then when I had to do something, to walk out and buy food, for example, I needed to take that painkiller for to could do it. So I took this painkiller, maybe something else of my ordinary medicine, but I think it was most the painkiller I took, because I have to go out, and because I took that medicine, I had to eat something with it. So I took shrimp salad. That's what we can buy in the store. It's shrimps mixed with mayo and onion and something more. And I took 1 spoon of it because it's very fat, so it doesn't damage my stomach, the pills. So I ran away to the church, And when we have done this with bash music and was praying, then this woman that was leader for the church, she was not sitting close to me. I was sitting in a line of her, but she bowed forward and looked at me from far away. And when she looked at me, she looked like my mother in what she was doing in her body, how she acted. And I saw, this is my mother. And I maybe do it also, if you should be here and see me when it's coming, these spirits that I change in my way to act, to move and talk. And she was like my mother that have passed away for many years ago. And she looked at me and she said to me that you should not eat shrimp, she said to me. And I'd be, what? This woman can't know that I took a spoon of shrimp salad at home before I go with the bus. And I was far away from the church, so I couldn't smell or something like that. It was pure my mother. And I believe that. I believe that when I was in that church. I have believed for a long time that this spirit world exists. And then I was thinking, why did she say this about shrimp? Because I love shrimp, to eat shrimp. And but I didn't eat shrimp for some years, 3-4 years like that. But then I was thinking about it often, very often, when I was in a store and I saw these shrimps and I wanted to buy it, but then I was thinking that my mother said that I should not eat shrimp. And I eat some shrimp in when I was with other people and we eat shrimps, and I didn't like it, the taste of shrimp, because my mother had said that. But then I understood what she was talking about. And this is for you to understand also, that when they are talking from the spirit world, is it about spirit? It have nothing with earth to do. When they're talking like a warning, a personal warning like that. And what my mother was saying when I understood that in a spirit way, it was that shrimp is the basic food in the sea. It's many living creature in the sea have the shrimp to eat, and some maybe eat only shrimp. And shrimp belong to the lower animals in the sea. And what my mother was talking about, if we if we eat up all the shrimps and everything that is in the lowest, it's a chain of food. So the shrimps are eating those smaller things. And if we take everything of it, it will make the sea die. We will not have any fish anymore. We will not have a living water. There is no living creature in the water. So I understood what my mother was saying and started to eat shrimp again and like it, because I understood it was not about food that we eat here on earth. It was spirit saying. It was not literally saying she did. And that is, she was talking about the shrimps, but in the long run, in the big picture, is it that we should not take away the foundation. And that is what the church are doing today, that many churches only say that we don't care about the Old Testament. It's nothing for us because Jesus have given us the New Testament, and it's only the New Testament we should read. That means they have taken away the foundation. And my mother was talking about this, that it's a change. And maybe it was in that time when she was talking to me, 2009, when it started to change in all religions, that it's money that have make them change to create more money, because they need to go after what people want to hear and what people want to see. So they more and more the church have become an entertainment platform, and to be a idol, music idols for many, and it's coming out from the church. And those people that singing in the church, they do their recordings, and they are on the playlist and hit list, and be famous, be on television, earn much money and these things. And maybe it started in that time, 2009, when my mother come through and say this about shrimps, the foundation. We should not take away the foundation in the sea. And the sea is the same symbolic as God's words. And we should not change it because people want to hear what they want to hear. We must stay focused on what God wants us to know, and what God wants us to be in the relationship with Him. Is God's will, is not people's wants. And so the whole time when I be frustrated, I be irritated about the Jewish talking about forbidden animals to eat, and what to eat and not to eat. And isn't it sad about the lamb? They make very much eating food of lamb, the meat of lamb. And is it not sad about them? Because in the Jewish tradition is that a holy person should cut off the throat of the lamb or goat or animal, what it is in its sacrifice, and what they eat. And I am thinking that it is what's come with that animal, what's their attribute, what is in their way to live, is what it is about, what God is talking about, that we should not eat. I love meat, so it's very hard to not eat meat. But today I only eat chicken and fish and shrimp. It's not only chicken. I eat turkey also, and birds I eat, and I eat fish and only shrimp. I don't like those other creatures in the sea. But that it is not about the animal, isn't it? It is about the animal, but it's how they are acting and how they live their life, and that is symbolic for people, that we should not be together with that people like pigs, these filthy people. It's sad to say, because the pigs are most more intelligent than a dog. Some dog breeds are not so smart as a pig, and there is other animals that we can see on Facebook. There is videos about animals, how they can do things, and I had for a while rats, and they were very, very smart rats. So that it's but what I didn't like with rats, I stopped to have rats, or else I have had a rat in my home now as a pet. But what I didn't like, it was when I bought a very, very cute little pig. No, little rat, a cute baby rat, and place it into my old rat in the cage, in a big cage. And immediately when the cute baby come into the cage, the old rat killed it instantly. And then I saw that this is not a pet for me that can be so evil as this one was. So I never bought a rat again. And that's what it was. it was as long as it had its control. When this rat, you can place it on a person as long as you are in this person's control, and he can get or she can get from you what it need to have and want to have. That's okay. But when it's doesn't, when something going out from its control, then he or she can instantly kill you. And that is not about killing the body, but it is killing in the brain and those things. So that's, I can take it from the rat to a person. That can be like a rat, stealing and eat up everything, as long as you don't say anything to this person. If you go away from their, what they feel is that they have control over you and their environment, as long they have that control, that's okay. But but if you say something against them, then they can kill you. So I don't believe in the Jewish way to talk about what to eat and not to eat. That what God is talking about, and God is a spirit, so God is talking about the spirit world, the spirit us, the spirit we, the spirit earth, and not so much. It can be sometimes literally, but very much is about the spirit. So we have to think about it when you read. You maybe start to read the Bible with another way to see it, and you will see what I'm talking about. If you read those places where it says to not do and what to do with the animals, and you should not only read some of the lines, you should read the whole chapter to understand, and you will see a different way to read it. And this my main platform for my podcast is SoundCloud, but I have more than this platform, and I see that SoundClouds, the listener have going lower and lower and lower, and it's not on me about it, because it's poor people. It's sad about these people that is entrapped into these religions they grow up in, and they are in prison of those religions, so they can't hear. They maybe listen at one episode, and I say something negative about Jesus, and then they don't want to listen anymore. But you that have listened to many episodes, you know that Jesus is my friend. We are. He is my ancestor. I am in the same line as Jesus. Why should I be angry at him? It's only that the only thing I say is that Jesus is not God. but God was with Jesus. But Jesus was not God. And that's only, but they are so trapped into this, the devil's religions. So they go angry at me and they don't want to listen anymore. That's why it's go lower and lower of listener. But then I have other platforms, and instead they have growing bigger and bigger, increase very much listener. But SoundCloud is going down, down, down. But you that following me and stay with me, you are blessed, because you are not trapped into religions. You can see it more clearly what's going on and have going on, because the devil have not started today to change the world. The devil started already in year 325 when the church decided to make Jesus be God. It was not in Jesus' time. It was 325 years after Jesus was born where they placed Jesus as God. So the devil have worked for the whole time, and I see it in my life that the devil have started already before I was born to make my life hell. That my brother and sister, my older brother and sister, when they heard that my mother should have one child more coming, and they be so angry because they wanted to be on their own, and they are like rats. So that control they had in that time on both my mother and the father, they had a control in the family. And when they heard that my mother should have one more child, then they got fear to lose the control they had, that I that was born, I should be like control over them. They have the fear of it. They fear what was going on. They fear of losing the control. That no one have the control. The last control, that's God that have that control. It's God that decide if it's okay for you to make a suicide, even if you don't want it, but you have a free will, and it doesn't matter that I tell you that God doesn't like suicide, that you have to change your mindset and not going down to the pit in that way. So that is, God have that control to could stop you, because he stopped me when I was thinking, I was really in to kill myself. I should have done it. I should have success. It was not a cry for help. I should do it. I should do it for real. But God didn't wanted it, so he stopped me to do a suicide. So that can God do if you have more to do here on earth, but you have a free will. but you should know the consequence of it, that it's going to be a real hell for you in your afterlife when you're coming to the heavenly court. I tell you. So I hope you don't do it and I know, because I was really mental sick when I had a plan to kill myself. I was not myself in that moment because the devil trigger the mental issues to be even worse. So I was total crazy, but I couldn't do anything. I have to act normal because my daughter was awake and she was with me, and she felt the touch on her from the spirits. So that was she that helped me to get in contact with God and change the whole thing. So God bless you and take care of you, because I want you to come back and listen more my podcast and how to change your life.